Hey everybody, Tricia Brouk here, executive producer of Speakers Who Dare, founder of the Big Talk Academy, curator of the Speaker Salon, and founder of the Big Talk membership community. I am so excited to end our week with an incredible woman, incredible human being, dear friend of mine. We have the pleasure of talking with Annette Breckbill. Annette, I'm so happy that you're here with us today. Thank you for spending the end of your week with us.
Are you kidding me? I would go anywhere to be standing in your light. It's a glorious thing to do. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Annette Breckbill is the founder of the Breckbill Group, and it's a speaker agent. And her group is a speaker representation and consultancy firm based in Arlington, Virginia. The Breckbill Group I've got typos here. My apologies. Her aim is to amplify the positive, life-changing messages from her authors, speakers, influencers, and game changers. Like many military spouses, Annette has an eclectic resume, and she had a successful career in the travel industry in Australia, a stint as a flight attendant in Bahrain, and 3 years as a diplomat based in the American Embassy in London, where she organized senior government officials' participation in prestigious international events. Most recently, Annette has worked for an industry-leading speaker bureau where she managed $25 million portfolio. That included former heads of government, business luminaries, and media personalities. She's developed a passion for pairing the right speaker with the right event and takes pride in seeing the positive ripple effects speakers make on businesses, organizations, and most importantly, their people. Annette, you are a native Australian who enjoys traveling, great food, 90s music, and spending quality time with your Navy officer husband and your 3 young kids. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this Friday conversation. I'm so excited to introduce you to my community because really right now, community is more important than ever. We are in shelter in place. You're in the DC area. I'm in New York City where things are very tense. And we're being given an incredible opportunity right now to lead with gratitude, to understand the difference between opportunity and creativity, and to also really embody empathy and compassion fully right now. I would love for you to talk a little bit about how you are handling COVID-19 right now.
Well, I must first say, I want to know who that woman is because she sounds much more interesting than I actually am. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take her for a drink. She sounds like a bunch of fun. And thank you again for having me. So it's such an interesting time to be in and around the events industry. And I am on a weekly call on Thursdays with the International Association of Speakers Bureaus. So the owners of all of the leading bureaus all around the world jump on this incredible call and talk about the challenges within the industry. And it's quite rough out there, and a lot of big bureaus are having to make a lot of tough decisions about their staffing and the future of the business. But yesterday afternoon I was chatting to a colleague, and this incredible sort of reframe came into my mind, and I'd love to share it with you and our community. Is that really what's happened to the events industry in the last 4 weeks or so is very similar to what has been happening to mom and pop brick and mortar businesses for the best part of a decade, except for it's happened in a very short amount of time. So we're kind of in whiplash of dealing with it. And just like a lot of brick and mortar stores have been changed forever, our events industry is going to be changed forever. So when I hear my colleagues like, when will we get back to normal? Like, I don't know what normal means to them, but if they're talking about the way we were in January, which feels like just a couple of weeks and a decade ago all at once, like, I don't think we're going to go back there. But I think that's okay. I really think that that's going to be okay. So if you look at what happened with brick and mortar stores, really one of 3 things happened. Some of those stores closed forever because they were either unable or unwilling to make the changes to their businesses. And I think that sadly there is a lot of people in the events industry, because this has come on so quick, they're just being caught, and they may not survive this, which is really sad for some of my colleagues and people that I love and trust. The second type of mom and pop business, they went 100% virtual. And they decided to go direct to customer with a virtual online store, such as the boom of like the Etsy's and the Shopify's and even big old Amazon.
Yeah.
And that experience has really helped them to increase their customer base and reach people in all parts of the country where they are in their living room. And I think that there are a lot of events that will go online in 2020, never to be seen in a convention center ever again. And that's okay.
I love that you're saying that that's okay, Annette. I think that giving us permission to think differently and to have forward thinking is so, so valuable. I know that you are conscious of how Speakers Who Dare came to be, because we're friends and we talked about it. But March 24th, Speakers Who Dare was meant to be a live event in New York City at a small theater on the Upper West Side, 130 seats. I think it was May 10th or May 13th, Broadway closed down. So I started thinking about, okay, how do I innovate right now? Because we need diverse, incredible ideas more now than ever. So if I cancel, I am giving those speakers an opportunity I'm not giving those speakers an opportunity, and I'm actually removing an opportunity of inspiration, motivation, and hope to a potentially wider audience. So I thought, okay, I'll remove the audience. We'll give everybody refunds and I'll live stream it. So we'll bring 22 speakers into the theater. I'll have 6 cameras. We'll shoot it and we'll live stream it. And then things kept happening rapidly. And I thought, okay, how do we keep everyone safe? And how do we make sure this message gets out there when we need it? I'll ask everyone to create virtual movies for me, mini movies, and then I'll edit together a feature film. So everyone stayed at home. I gave everybody unique directions specific to their talk. And that would never have been born if I wasn't being given the challenge of no live event. So you're absolutely right in terms of what is possible. We don't even know what's possible yet.
I mean, and your event, which I've got to give you mad props for, you really pulled that off. And congratulations to all of those speakers who didn't just check a box. They really delivered. Delivered.
We reached 18 countries. We went from 130 people in a small theater in New York to 18 countries.
Wow.
So how I'm thinking about my next event is I'm not even wrapping my hands around it yet. I am still allowing the universe to tell me what's possible, and this opportunity to also tell me what's possible. In addition to supporting your speakers, actually, let's talk about how you are currently supporting your speakers, because I'm sure there's a lot more support that you're giving them currently, Annette.
Absolutely. And one of the funnier comments from yesterday's IASB call was that every time someone uses the words pivot and adversity, everyone has to take a drink. But really, that's kind of where everyone's at right now. There's a couple of my speakers who, maybe their talk doesn't translate so much online and they're quite busy. So we are sort of pivoting their messages and making them available out there in the marketplace. But there is 2 of my speakers who have really specific value adds for the marketplace that I feel like can be supporting people. And that's Liz Bohannon, who wrote an incredible book, Beginner's Pluck. She's an incredible social entrepreneur. She actually started her company, Seiko Designs, during 2008. And she credits the adversity and her lack of experience and connections and knowledge to the multi-million company that she now has, which creates a platform for women in Uganda to be able to pay for school that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. So certainly, showing a little bit of pluckiness in the more British sense of the word, which means spirited and determined courage. So she is sharing her pluck with a lot of audience in a webinar form. And one thing I do want to sort of point out, and has been talked about a lot in the industry, is that it's not acceptable to say, hey, I can also do this virtually, because everyone is doing things virtually. That's the standard point of entry in the marketplace now. What people need to be talking about is the value add that they can give people and meet people where they are. So even if you can try and describe what you do without using the words webinar or virtual, that would be great, because everyone's also take a drink tired of those words as well. And maybe there is something that you can send out to your clients in advance, as we are doing with Liz. So we're doing a series of 2 custom videos to send out in advance of her webinar. And then at the end of that webinar, people will receive a workbook with accompanying 5-minute videos that they can do over a 3-week period to help them get out of their analysis paralysis. So creating innovative products like that. And with Janelle McCauley, who is a 20-year Air Force veteran, speaks about maintaining your peak performance in times of pressure. I mean, hello, that's kind of where we are now, right? And so we have been working on her presentation and offering, and what we're making sure that we're doing is, as a military spouse, I am very aware of what it's like to have your loved one leave the house and, have concerns about what they're walking into. And I get a little bit emotional because we've been digging into this work today, and I get so connected with these stories. And so we're creating a training and a workbook handout type of thing that it's not just for the employees of these companies that are being so greatly impacted right now. It's for their partner to be able to support their kids, for their sisters, brothers, mums, dads, aunts, and uncles, to be able to give them tools that they can use right now today that's going to help them make even a 2% positive impact right now. We're going for that. It's all about these marginal growth. So thinking about how we can create the biggest impact, it really is about impact.
I love everything that you're saying, and want to just bring to your attention that our fellow community members are here. Andrew is here, Jazz is here, Christina is here. They're giving you hearts as well. It's so important that we are in service right now, and that we are in alignment and in purpose. And I know that there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people who are showing up online for the first time, and I applaud them. I applaud them and support them 1000%, because you and I have been working this way for quite some time. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you are elevating and creating that safe space for your speakers in a time where they may feel very unstable. And I know that you are probably their rock right now.
Well, I'd like to think that I'm a rock, but I'm so blessed to work with some of the biggest badasses I know. So at best, I always say that I am in partnership with my speakers, that there's not really like a leader and a follower. We link arms, because sometimes I need propping up, and I am so blessed to have access to some of the greatest minds that I know, which are my speakers. So we really are in partnership of each other. And really it is a lot about out of the box thinking, and making sure that I'm engaging with the bureau community and finding out not just what my clients are saying, what other people's clients are saying as well. Because we really do want to make sure that we are showing up in a different way, because hands up anyone else who needs one more free webinar in their inbox that is talking about leadership through adversity. I mean, there is a lot of that, but where is your place within that? And I think that a lot of these webinars are going too broadly. And what I want to encourage people to do is like really think about your ideal customer and get inside their mind and offer that value. And I'm not telling you to not do a free webinar and show up and add value, but really take some time to think about that specific problem that they're trying to overcome. Like in the same way that what actually forced us to think about this great offering that Janelle is doing for the family members is not just because we're both military connected, is because we have a great client who is an association that a lot of the big multinational hotels belong to. And so really talking to that customer and finding out exactly what they want. So that's really how I am showing up for my speakers, is listening to everyone and everything, and taking some quiet time to really get into exactly what they need right now, because they don't need a lot of information. We've all got a lot of information.
Right.
They need the right information.
Amazing. Everybody who's listening, this is the incredible Annette Breckbill, speaker agent and friend. If you are enjoying this, please like, share, comment. I want to hear from you. And if you stick around, we are going to give you an opportunity to ask Annette some questions. You do not want to miss this time with this incredible woman. Annette, you are part of the Big Talk membership community. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about what drew you to a speaker community like this and what your experience has been like so far.
I feel like there is no accidents in life, and everything is kind of like pre-planned. I'm a big believer in that. And I was at a conference down in Charleston that was a business conference run by a woman who's like all about empowerment. And I connected with some great people who are in and around the speaking industry that were also at that conference. And I just got my heart lit on fire by being in community with a lot of other people. And it was while I was at that conference, I was straight on the phone to Tricia, who is like the biggest badass in the industry and really lights my heart on fire when I work with her as well. I'm like, I have this great collection of incredible people and speakers that I'm, joining this community with. I really want to serve them. Is there a way that we can serve them? And she said, well, I happen to be creating this community. She told me what it was all about. And I'm like, well, if I don't join it, I'll die. Like, I need to do this, because it's literally exactly what I may have imagined building, out of this. Like, she was already working with it. And so absolutely, I wanted to join it and be a part of it. And it's really been a privilege. Because, there's a lot of people in the industry, especially when you get sometimes into the higher dollar, speakers and like the bigger bureau type of things. And there's a lot of people who say they care, but you, Tricia, you really do. You really do. And I see that and I value that. And that's the kind of person that I wanted to be aligned with.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And Wayne has joined. Brandy is excited. And Wayne gave us a big heart. So we're going to stick around and answer any of those questions. Something that's so unique is that the membership community is about support. It's about community. It is about giving each other an opportunity to elevate each other. It's a resource library. You have access to a library that I designed specifically to help elevate your speaker platform. And then the group calls once a month where we all get together, and I sometimes do a teaching. Sometimes I just listen and answer questions. Annette, you were a guest expert at one point and gave the community an opportunity to ask you anything about the difference between an agency and a bureau. And so there's so much constant generosity within this community. And that's something that I'm humbled by every single time we meet. I would love to know if there are 2-3 things that have stood out so far for you, Annette.
The sense of community and the openness of everyone sharing is something that it doesn't happen every day. I think that across all of the different social media platforms, people sometimes feel like they're kind of showing up. Every time I read something that's in that incredible Facebook group, which I check into, maybe several times a day, if I'm honest, because I love it so much. Everything that people are saying, I know is coming from the heart. Like there's no one fronting in there. And people share not just stories about what's happening from the stage. People are sharing their lives. This is a real community that is being built here.
Yeah.
And so I love that. And the resources that you have pulled together, I rubber stamp those. I mean, they're perfect. I really enjoy being able to recommend it wholeheartedly. And I do some consultancy with people who are speakers as well. And Trish knows, and I'm like, as I end my consultancy, by the way, you need a crew. You need like someone to link arms with to be able to hustle this out, to be your partners in crime as you venture out into this brave new world. And if you don't join this community, I don't know. It's such a great group of people and supportive people and people who show up for each other. And I think it's a great example. It's like everyone's like, oh my gosh, everyone's doing all these Zoom calls and we're connecting on Zoom calls. You guys, we're already doing that. We already get that. Those Zoom calls aren't much different now because we've already been showing up that way for each other to support.
Absolutely. And Annette, you kind of just let the cat out of the bag because this is such an important time in terms of community and gratitude and coming together and giving everyone a safe place to continue to cultivate the power of your voice and your message. I am opening up the Big Talk membership community right now through tomorrow. So we've been open for a week. You have an opportunity to join this incredible community and to be supported. I always say in this community, you might be on stage by yourself, but you are never alone. And that is why being together and supporting one another and having the Facebook group, the private Facebook group to ask questions and to post your wins and to post your challenges, to get that support, to get access to the resource library, and to have a group call with me every single month and guest experts who are popping in all of the time. This is something that I care deeply about, and it's really important to me to make it possible right now for people in this time of uncertainty to join the membership for $47 a month. You get all of that value for $47 a month with no commitment. So I am super, super excited to share this amazing opportunity with you all today. And I want to open it up for questions. Jazz put a couple questions in, but they're no longer in the feed. So I'd love to hear you all. I'd love to have you all put some questions in so I can see them. That would be amazing. What else have you been up to currently in terms of your community, Annette?
So I have a great network of female founders within the industry, and other bureau owners that are kind of like me, solo operators. Who are women that I've been reaching out to and bonding with. And I've just found it, because everyone has like a little bit more time on their hands, maybe. I mean, like 50% of our time is like rescheduling gigs and the other time is spent on Zoom calls. But I found like it's refreshing to sort of take a step back from hustling and really get to know the people that I'm in community with. And so that's been really interesting, and I really enjoy getting to know a lot of people on a personal level.
Amazing. I'm just looking over. I have two computers because this one is our camera, and here's the Facebook Live. So this is Jazz. What could speakers do who don't have the support of a team to get their messages out beyond social media? What a great question.
Beyond social media, I mean, the old school smiling and dialing. If you have a list of people that you have the contact numbers for, now might be a really good time to jump on the phone and go old school.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised when they hear your voice. They're going to be real happy to hear from you.
Yeah.
And really sort of say, hey, how are you? And then ask them about their problems, and then just like, and listen, you're going to learn so much. You're really going to learn so much. And that's really what I've been doing for my clients, is just listening. That's really the value add, is just listening. You'll get to know them so much more.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. That is such great value. Beck Lee, friend, playwright. He wants to know, how far flung are your speakers, Annette, geographically and topically?
So I'm in Arlington, Virginia, just over the river from DC. I have Janelle in Utah. I have Lex Gillette in San Diego. My Marissa Hamamoto is in LA. Liz Bohannon is up in Portland. So they're my awesome foursome. So none of them are in my same time zone. None of them. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to work online? I'm like, I kind of already do it. That's kind of what I do, right? This is my jam. So that's where they are. And also topically, I choose my speakers with the one litmus test is that if I can let my 3 kids who are under the age of 10 listen to a keynote and they can get at least one nugget of information out of that, that's a speaker that I want to work with. So I stay away from like the super salesy type of people, or like, the super wonky politicians and that sort of thing. There's totally a place for that in the marketplace. But that's kind of what I left in my last job. And, the reason why I started my own company, because these are the speakers that kind of light my soul on fire. And I try and make sure that I have a diversity in every sense of the word. So ultimately, if I was to book a multi-day conference for someone, all of my speakers could be booked at the same conference.
Amazing. You definitely just answered Brandy's question as well. Andrew says, Annette, I found, first he says, 1, we're amazing. 2, he found the brick and mortar analogy spot on for what we're going through. I could swear you said that where we were, 3 things happened to mom and pops, and close forever, go virtual, but he missed the 3rd. Was there a 3rd?
There was. I was actually going to get back to the 3rd. Thank you, Andrew. You are magic. Oh, see what I did there? I think we had like diverted topics, and I do want to kind of come back to it. So thank you for pinging me. So the 3rd, right? The 3rd mom and pop store became so special and created such a sense of community that people still came out of their houses to be able to go to it. And it really, if you think about your favorite mom and pop store, like when you walk in there, you get that feeling that it speaks to every piece in your humanity. That's kind of like those pain points that we have now in our humanity. That's what those mom and pop stores really give us. And events are going to go the same way. They're going to become much more intimate. I mean, there is like some sort of scary liability piece of that the industry is talking about that I don't even want to spend my mind thinking about. The liability of having like 12,000 people in a room. And I think that those events may still they will come back, but the vast majority of events are going to become far more intimate experiences. And rather than people going to 6, 7, or 8 conferences a year, like conference junkies, the conferences that they're going to go to will become so much more special. And so that's really where I'm excited to sort of see that happen as well. There's so many different aspects of opportunity through this.
I couldn't agree more. And you made me think of a story. I was shopping at a card shop when I was in Chicago at a film screening, one of my films. And I walk in and it's this very sweet, mom and pop shop, cards, candles, some stones, some books. And I was wandering around and it was really good vibe. And I grabbed a book and I went to pay. And the owner said, "I'm so sorry. I was unable to say hello when you walked in. I was taking care of another customer." And I thought, I am definitely not in New York. And that warmed my heart so much. And that is the kind of intimacy, that is the kind of community, that is the kind of interaction that should be happening all the time. And now we're being given an opportunity where we can see it through that lens. And I think you're absolutely right. We have an opportunity now to create intimate, heart-centered events where we're still giving as much value and maybe even more value.
I agree with you. Like, there will no longer be room in the marketplace for an average conference. It's just like, how many really average, mid-size brick and mortar stores do you see now? None. Everything's like, they've just been eaten up. So I'm really excited because I think that it's just like it's a time of innovation. Like, yes, I don't want to put like rose-colored glasses on. Of course, the situation is serious, but there's also an incredible amount of reminders and great things that we can take from this as a community, and especially as an events community, because that's and one of the reasons why I align with Tricia rather than a lot of other people who, maybe would say they're similar in the marketplace, but they're not. But no one leads with that heart, and I think that is what is always irreplaceable within the industry. Like, you can find like a bunch of really average communities who will like check the box and give you the lanyard, and you get like a tote bag with a t-shirt and that sort of thing. No one really cares about that.
Right.
They care about the way that you make them feel.
Absolutely. I am so happy that you joined me on a Friday. Thank you so much, Annette, for being here. And everyone, right now is the time for you to lead with gratitude. Understand that this is a moment of innovation and creativity. Have empathy and compassion, absolutely, and join communities that are right for you. And that is why I'm opening up the Big Talk membership community through tomorrow. I usually wait until November because I believe strongly that using your voice and having a support system in order to do that is everything. This is how we make the world a better place together.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
I will post the link in the comments, and together we're going to keep elevating one another and have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Big love, everybody. Thank you.
Yay!
That was amazing. I really appreciate it.
Gosh, that light fare in my eye. That's what. And here we are. Like, the camera will readjust a little. There we go. That's kind of readjusting a little bit, but I didn't want that to be going on. That's not good. Oh my goodness.
Yes, exactly.
That was so much fun.
That was amazing.
So much fun. Thank you so much for being such a gracious host.
Oh, my pleasure. It's easy. So I'm going to figure out how to download this, and then I'll just I'll pop it over in a Google Doc, and then you can just upload it as you like.
Love it. You're looking stunning today, by the way. Like a little very chic chignon. I love it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, well, I'm really glad that your speakers have you. They're so lucky. I mean, you're lucky, they're lucky. It's just all about the community you've created.
I mean, it's, well, and it's really rough out there in the industry, kind of like off camera. My former colleagues at WSB